awaydaysbeer.com. Proud to partner with Talking Town. For only $14.99, grab your ITFC Legends Pack from the Beat to Hoppy Robson to Brazil's Best and Pablo's Pal. Whatever you need, whatever you want. ITFC Legends Pack, $14.99 at awaydaysbeer.com. Grab it today. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to the last Sunday ITFC Talking Town podcast before the new season. That's right, this time next week, we will be sitting down to discuss what was Morecambe at home in front of an absolute blockbuster crowd. It's going to be electric. It's going to be all different manners of chants, which I'm sure is a topic we'll get into at some point through the show, because there was a couple yesterday that upset a few people, I believe. But don't worry, this is Talking Town. You can listen or watch as we deliver the last word on Ipswich Town this week while giving you tomorrow's opinion today. There we go. What a lovely little slogan I've just dreamed up in the shed. Not Colin's shed, but Colin is watching this afternoon. Welcome in, Colin. I hope the Cornish air is treating you really well. Matt Stannard, a real pleasure to meet you yesterday. And many of you who stopped by to say hello, bought drinks, etc., etc. A real pleasure to speak with you. And actually, I was going to quickly put a few graphics on the screen of our Talking Town fifth stand ultras. I know the Cruncher loves that. It's a saying that stuck with me through the summer, actually, the fifth stand. So I thought we'd go with that. We are the fifth stand, and we are growing. And thanks to all you guys and girls, what you saw yesterday, what you will see this year, and what you've seen before is all down to yourselves. So you can support us if you like. Mark Rattle, afternoon all, afternoon Guv. Let me bring that back. Can't believe these people moan about the team. They absolutely know nothing about football. I've not seen Cruncher moaning just yet. Has he been moaning? I don't think he has. I'm going to bring them both in just a second. Don't worry, I'm not going to play the actual monstrosity that was the mismatch of theme tunes. Don't worry, they'll both get individually brought in. But first and foremost, Fearsome 4. Let's tie a few loose ends up from the summer, because we're moving into a new season and there will be a new Fearsome 4 that will run throughout the season. Hopefully plenty of prizes will be brought in. We'll hope to get some sponsorship involved with that, make that really fun. But first of all, Fearsome 4, this is how it ended up. Final results: Damien Knight on 10, Gavin Turner on 9, George Nunn on 8. I have validated that twice, George. So yes, you do finish third. Whether he accepts a prize or not is completely down to George. I know he is obviously a part of the network. Anthony's still in 4. So Damien, Gavin and George, you will receive prizes. I will be in touch with those very shortly. But it was a really good event, one I really enjoyed. So we're going to run a Fearsome 4 throughout the year, featuring local teams. So this week we're going to have MK Dons, not Norwich, because Norwich don't start just yet. And also a wild card, which features a Thurlow Nunn or SIL team. That should even the field a little bit, because even the Cruncher, surely, with all his knowledge, surely even you don't know about non-league football, Crunch. Surely you don't.
Well, I know that Haverhill Rovers, my sort of local team from where I did live, where my mum and dad lived, 1-1 yesterday with Norwich United. First game.
He knows it's. Oh, you try and catch this.
Just some breaking news here. I've just been tweeted by Matt Sysom on Twitter. He's just tweeted me, announced Ipswich Town at the Cruncher, Gary Cahill, released by Crystal Palace. He would be a good signing for Town. Do a season.
Not for me. Not for me. Not for me, I'm afraid. I'll ask Matt to bring him in, but no. He just stands in the way of Wolfenden, to be fair. So in that, or in Derby even. Like Corey was there yesterday, didn't get on, if memory serves me rightly. Have you seen
Colin's new haircut?
No, I haven't. No, I've only spoke to Colin, not seen.
Talking about fearsome foursome, I think he's had about a fearsome. I think it's about 2.
Oh dear. Duncan Ferry, good afternoon all. Could we begin with the blowing bubbles subject? Was it Blue Action or fans being a bit large sliced bread because the Unity is the message?
Blue Action weren't there.
Well, they had a merchandise stand outside the ground.
Yeah, they weren't there. The main people weren't there. I've seen it, so don't go tiring Blue Action. But I did see our own. Actually, I've got a bone to pick with him because I know he was calling me out yesterday, saying where was I on the show? Where was I at the game? I see Sid Driver singing that fucking awful song. Checkbook FC in the fucking bin. Get rid of it.
Do you know what? Yesterday, I'm going to be honest, and this is probably going to come up throughout the season. North Stand again. I didn't hear him. At all. All these people saying, "Oh, were they singing this?" Or did you hear? No, I was sat in the lower tier of the Britannia stand, and I didn't hear a single thing. I heard a couple of songs. But
what was the crowd, Martin? Was it about 4,000? Did they say?
I didn't hear it announced. The PA system again wasn't brilliant. It wasn't the best where I was sat. But I wasn't
too. Best, I don't think wherever you sit in the stadium, that's another thing.
Well, we know they watch and listen. So ownership, game changers, 3 Lions, Mike O'Leary, Ashton, get it changed, son. If you're going to employ Foz, at least make it so you can hear him. Right?
Foz was great the other night.
He was.
But I don't think he's the right person as a PA announcer.
He's no Rob Chandler. Love Foz, but no Rob Chandler. He's got some
big shoes to fill because Rob phoned me yesterday. He was on the way to Newmarket. He wanted some tips. I'll give him one and it comes second. There you go.
Weren't a tip then, was it?
Well, fooling his money, easily
if you
parted.
Ain't first, you might as well be last because no one knows who you are anyway.
That is true. But
go on, good. I only get up to 10:30.
Well, you're lucky. I was up at 3:30, mate. Went to work. Finished work. Supposed to ref a game. The opposition actually come from Norwich, didn't turn up, so that's why I'm here.
Did they not? Oh, well, never mind. No. Their loss is our gain. Right, lots coming up on this show. We've got the fearsome four, as I said later on in the show. We've got Millwall. We've got the Q&A. We've got the new signings. That is absolutely a lot to get through. So let's bring in our third and wonderful member of the team, Kate O'Reilly. Sadly, I don't believe has been too well. So, Kate, as always, we're sending you our best wishes.
Did you say
O'Reilly?
Kate O'Reilly?
I did just say Kate O'Reilly. I did. I'm confused now with the American news anchor. My mistake. Yeah. There you go. You see, you're only as good until you're not very good. Right, here he is. Let's bring him in. He's been at Centre Parks. He has no idea what's been going on this week.
Code Brown.
Got me. Right. Lloyd Gladden, football fans sing songs, Matthew, to antagonise away fans. Shock. It will always happen. Slightly more embarrassing than normal, but it's pre-season. Move on. Won't be sung come Saturday. What do you think?
Yeah, I bet it will be. Was it Checkbook FC? We never learn, do we? Remember when Marcus Evans came in and everyone was waving £20 notes at Norwich fans? I don't know. Sometimes it comes bites you on the bum, doesn't it?
But it's Ipswich. It probably. I don't think it will do this year. It's a new Ipswich. Isn't the Ipswich your dad new?
Why was it no stream yesterday? What's going on?
Well, Tin Pot FC. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Tin Pot FC.
The thing is that there is a bloke in the South Stand, Churchman's, with a camera. So let's say he's a data analyst. Just hijack that feed and sell people a £5 a pop. You don't got any commentary. Sell it as one camera. You'd have made at least that bloke's salary for that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was busy doing post-holiday stuff, but I just ridiculously thought there'd be a stream of the game and I'd be able to watch it, but I couldn't. So
walking the goldfish, weren't you?
There's nothing worse than coming back from holiday You go and pick up the pets. You got to unpack. You got to do the washing. Hate it, man. Are you guys one of the, and people in the comments? Do you normally leave your suitcase in the hallway for a week, or is it straight? I think Rich is straight unpacking and in the washing.
Straight unpacking, get the washing out, get the washing on, and away we go.
Yeah,
you know what Rich is like. He's unpacked the day before he's got home. He's that good. You know what I mean? No, he's always ahead of me and you. Well, certainly me. That's for sure.
Luckily, like that. Yeah, it was all done by last night. It was down to me. We would get done in about October.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. When we got home from our holiday, our couple of days break, the wife did mine. It was done before the second evening being home. Michael Finch, Millwall were not average. They are top half championship side. We're a team just trying to gel together. We'll come to Millwall in a second. Emerson, our cameraman, has been covering the Olympic trampolines. John Ipswich. My tent gone from car to van since Latitude. How was Bill Bailey, by the way? I heard he was the first comedian to be closing the festival.
I was chatting to John. Actually, John he was the one I was chatting to when I was walking back to the car waiting for you, Martin, on Thursday. After I got out, I got let out the short exit. He went around the long way. I was waiting there for about 10 minutes, Matt. I thought, where is he? Is he chatting? He was chatting to someone. So I chatted to John. So hello, John.
Do you know what? I'm useless. And I mean that in broad sense. But I was singing to people and I didn't got a clue who they were. Even Joey.
You were saying yesterday, this is for me and Matt. So you were saying yesterday, people were meeting you buying you drinks. So I think next Saturday, Matt, we can leave our wallets at home, yeah?
Well, you do, certainly.
I've noticed during the week you've been promising people drinks. Oh, Matt will buy you a beer on Saturday.
It's true.
How many drinks did you get bought in yesterday, Ryan? And
I can't disclose the information. I can't disclose because I can't remember the name.
Matt did, didn't he? Matt Stannard bought you a pint because I think you tweeted that.
Matty's a legend. Matty just wanders over, gets involved with the show. Bish bash boss. Love that. Saw Blakey. Blakey was like, hello, mate. And I looked at him and went, hello. And he went, you don't know who I am, do I? And I went, no. And he might be on one of your shows. I was like, are you flat? I didn't say, are you flatty? Because Flatty's got a bald head, obviously. But then he mentioned Adam, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're Blakey." There we go.
Bosch was there, wasn't he, yesterday from away days? I see he was in Sir Alf Ramsey. Hopefully, he's got a reply from Dan Palfrey because he was going to message him, wasn't he, about that pop-up bar in the fan zone.
Dan's busy though, I've got like 4 emails outstanding for several weeks from Dan. So I'll be calling him Monday. Dan, if you're watching, don't turn the phone off. I'll be calling. Ryan, tickets booked for next weekend. Buzzing, not been at a game since Sunderland at home at the start of our first season in League One. Right, Millwall yesterday, 3-0 scoreline. I've had a number of texts. Someone called me Mother Teresa on Twitter. I was most flattered that they thought Mother Teresa was good as I am. I mean,
do you have a good bedside manner?
Well, I'm not a complaint just yet. Moving it on. George wants a link to the show. Link will be incoming just shortly, George. Let's have a conversation about Millwall now. Bring it back. 3-0. Number of texts from people saying, who let us down? What's going on? A little bit of panic. I did try and put a bit of water on there by saying we'll be a good League One team. Don't let this scoreline phase you.
Yeah.
But,
But I think people just naturally assume Millwall to be this kind of... They are a smaller club than Ipswich. They are smaller than us. But they're also a mainstay championship team. And I think they started like 6 of the 11 that beat Bristol City 4-1 on either the last day or second from last day of the season. So a team that has gelled quite and grown together against a team that had still got 7 new players trying to find their feet. So I don't know what everyone's getting the ump about. What were you expecting to win 4-0?
Well, it's because you can't see it. It was a 3-0 against Millwall, a team you've notoriously always considered lesser than Ipswich. It's going to sting a little bit, particularly when you've been sold the narrative all through the summer crunch. These are championship players. And I saw that a few times on Twitter.
I remember John Lyle, guys.
Legend.
I think when he was town manager, and he said, "You don't get 3 points for winning in a friendly." So
exactly, it's a chance to try and do that.
Millwall were a top 10 championship team last season.
11. Yeah, so pretty much.
Good players. How was he anyway? How did you feel when you
get onto that? We'll get onto that.
Did you feel a bit weak in the knees?
No, I did for the walk I just bloody did from the car. That was what I was more weak at the knees from. You finish the show, you quack up quick, you get stuff in the car, and you got to leg it back to the ground, and I can't leg it anywhere. Since 2017, I ain't legged nowhere. And so I was a bit weak at the knees. Plus, I got to my seat, and it was a packed And I was like, I said to the steward, I can't sit there. He went, why? I said, it's too packed. He went, all right, well, we'll move you. So for those that are wondering about COVID, restrictions, they are, as the steward said to me, we are here to make sure you have a good and enjoyable time and a safe time. And if you do worry, and if you are coming out for the first time and wasn't quite prepared for a packed block or whatever, we can help accommodate and we can help sort you out and make sure. So wondering about Morecambe, I don't know if that helps or not. Doesn't help you at all.
Does it still be plenty? What we reckon? 18, 19,000?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. You're not good at numbers, are you?
Well, you said 16,000 on season tickets.
Oh, come on, Matt. You said in the chat that was probably what they'd sold because they were just drip feeding it out.
I still think as they lead up to the Morecambe game, they'll do another season ticket announcement. I think it'll be close to that. I've always thought that. Yeah.
We'll see. Dominic Mann, just pre-season game when the team clicked, be a lot happier. Dominic left some great feedback on yesterday's show. Really appreciate that, Dom. Lloyd, what numbers?
I see that. Sid smoking his fag.
I thought you meant I was smoking. I've not smoked in years, but no, he didn't. What numbers we expect in Saturday? I think we'll get 23,000. Small following from Morecambe. I think Morecambe will come in big numbers. This is their big day out, if you like. We are the super giants of League One.
First game in League One coming to us.
Nice.
Does show how far we've fallen. Do you remember we played them in the FA Cup when we was Premier League?
I've got a clip, haven't I?
And we beat them 4-0. We also played them a couple of seasons later, or the season after, maybe 2 seasons after. It was that game that we snowed in. 4-0 it was, I think.
Colin's got a great sense of humour. He really has. You got to love Big Cole's sense of humour. Can't wait to meet him in the fan zone next week. In addition to all of you,
he's getting there early. He said he's going to get him to get down there early, so he can have a couple of pints before he comes in. So he might be a bit leery.
You're getting early there. You're getting there early soon, you Rich?
Yeah, I'm going to take the boys for breakfast, go to Wetherspoons, and then what time's the fan zone open? Is it 12:30?
Don't ask me.
12?
I don't know.
12. That's when Suffolk used to start their broadcast.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to go in the shop first.
It opens when Talking Town arrives.
Leave some for the rest of us in Planet Blue, will you?
Well, I've seen that new. I think Hawks has ordered the pink short sleeve goalie top. They're doing them in short sleeve and long, but I think they've sold out of all the sizes. It's like I've ordered my shirt and it's going to be 4 weeks for my shirt to come. So I'll probably have to buy another one. I'm going to buy that orange retro 81.
Oh, yeah, that's good, that
one. Martin don't like that.
No, not for me. And the longer I look at the pink goalie shirt, the more that becomes not for me either.
You don't like clothes, do you? He's a very miserable man.
It's been said on a couple of occasions.
How did the away kit look yesterday?
I don't fucking notice kits, Matt. I notice players, not kits.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Whites at home for one thing, so I thought you might notice it. I like that away strip. I think it looks good.
I don't look at like Lee Evans and go, yeah, he's a well turned out fella. But then when you ask about his playing ability, I ain't got a clue. Like, I'm watching him play football.
I think he looks like Lee Evans. Looks like a good table tennis player. Did you see the picture last night? He's got the bat in his hand, didn't he? You see it, Matt?
No, I didn't see that. No,
you haven't seen it. They're
out there. Video of that.
Bit of team bonding, didn't they?
Throwing away the lemons.
Wasn't it unfortunate who was pouring the beers out?
Oh, let's not go there. He's entitled to a weekend.
I saw that.
Kidding.
Ryan Senior, season's a marathon, not a sprint. We just need to consistently gain points than the last season. Where our form was so up and down. Dance chance too. What pubs are open on Saturday for Ipswich fans, and do we need to book any of those? Cruncher, do you know that information?
I was talking to Colin, and he said he had a phone call from, I think it was this guy who's Sicklesmere Post Office, Matt, which is about 4 miles from where Colin lives. And Mr. James Norwood was in there. He's the guy I told him. I said, I know what he was in there. He was putting an advert in the window looking for a taxi driver, wasn't he?
Nick Muller, I noticed no names on back of shirts. No, that's not quite happened yet. Dan Chances. Blackpool was struggling up until Christmas. Just gone, got promoted. So we do start poorly. Let's dip by the side and not get the teams back.
Well, Cook said that to us at Bury, didn't he? He said,
yes,
it's not going to change overnight, is it?
No, but he also said midweek at the Q&A, which we'll come on to a bit later, I'm sure, he was really glad we equalised at Colchester because, winning and losing, they do become habits. So he isn't taking the pre-season results, like you would do from next week onwards. Of course he's not, but he does take them a little bit seriously, which is why 3-0, I think he'll be really disappointed with. It is a scoreline that if you look at it on paper, it's not flattering. It's not good anyway. You look at it.
No.
But if we look at who played and how they played, I think we'll do it a different way. I think if you tell me who you think your starting 11 is next week, I can tell you how they played yesterday, how I've seen them play through the pre-season, and if I agree or not. I'm no expert, but I'll give it a bash. It's not often I'm the one in the hot seat. But so who's your goalkeeper next week? And if we couldn't, yes.
Well, it's got to be Hladky, isn't it? But I mean, last week he was your checkmate. This week, check hate. You said he was at fault for the goals, right?
First goal, definitely. Yeah, he spilled.
I see the first goal. It was he palmed it straight into his path, didn't he? Got to push it away.
You've got to push it away from danger. And he pushed it into it, and it was an easy tapping in the end. Difference yesterday, and I do not mean this in any disrespect to Hladky, who I also did say in the WhatsApp group, by the way, he will be a very good League One goalkeeper. Difference was the two goalkeepers. That was the difference really yesterday. Bart you don't know what you got until he's gone, and yesterday he was fantastic. Made one mistake.
Did you liken him to? Hladky? On the WhatsApp group?
Gherkin. Great reflex stop. Great reflex shot stopper. Didn't come for a cross all day. Dean Gherkin never came for a cross either. But I've only seen him twice, let's be honest. But yesterday, for example, 1-0 down, free kick, taken by Lee Evans. Bartos saves it. He's got no right saving this free kick. He's going left and then back to right to save it.
I see that. That was a camera save, Martin.
It was a good save.
Cool, now
2 minutes later, it's 2-0. And that's football. And that's football, And Matt Stannard, he'll be disappointed with the first and the third, but he's number one, undisputed, and he'll be a great League One goalkeeper.
You two obviously saw the Colchester game, which Holy played in. So what's the difference between the two keepers now? Now you've got a League Two player of the year compared to our keeper from last year.
Oh, he's like a circus clown if you're watching that game.
See, Matt Stannard, he likes his line, doesn't he? Yes,
yeah, but I think that will come on to it in a minute. That'll come with the centre-back pairing, Martin, because at the minute, we still don't know who's going to be the centre-back pairing going forward in the season.
Well, I think it's fairly obvious who it's going to be next week.
Can we just take a moment?
Alex
Griffin has got alive. He went to get a chant from the Millwall fans, and I thought, this sounds like an explorer, and you're never going to see him again. But he's here. He survived.
Let me say, I've really been enjoying Alex's match day vlog stuff.
I've not watched it yet. I'm going to watch that later.
It's really good.
I want to know what chant he got. But anyway, back to Hladky. It's between here for Holy. He lacks composure. Like that goal Alan Judge scored at the end. It's a massive rush of blood. And he's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah,
it wasn't the first time, Martin, in that game that he done it, because he was in the first half. He was playing left back up by the halfway line.
Yeah, exactly. So Hladky, undisputed number one. Holy, I think this is last year the deal, isn't it? I think he won't be here after next year, regardless of what division we're in. I don't know anymore who our number three is in terms of young. I think is it Bort still, or is it? Because it was Wright and Prize Bet, but they're both gone.
Not sure who played at Stonemarket yesterday for the 23s because there was no team.
No. On to the back four then. Are you playing a back four? Are you going to back three? I know Colin likes to go back three, as does Mike Brown.
For this, I've gone four, yeah. I've gone the four here.
Okay.
So where do you want to start? Right back?
Yeah, go on.
If he stays fit. KVY, obviously.
Crunch, agree with that?
Yeah, I'm renaming him 10 goals KVY.
10 goals KVY.
Give me those 10 goals. Come on, we've been waiting. All competitions.
Yeah, easy no.
Good afternoon, Irvin. He got moved yesterday, which is actually diabolical. I do feel sorry for Irv. I'm not quite sure the circumstances, but he was sat in the Churchman's near the away fans. Yeah. He ended up getting, not for his own fault, just because there was a lot of back and forth. I don't know what was said or what was done, but I hope you're okay, Irv. Thanks for popping by. KVY, I said yesterday in the show, post-game show, it's something when your best player for the last 2 seasons is suddenly looking like your 5th best player. And yesterday he looked it. He wasn't the best player the Town had. But that's a good thing. That means you've progressed in the right areas.
To me, he almost feels like another new signing. Because he's played what, 13, 14 games in 2 years? Nothing, is it? It's nothing. He needs a run. He needs a run of matches.
I did like when Cookie thought he'd try him at right wing. I liked that. I'm not, you sit here and you say, I remember Cito, for example. I always think, why don't a manager give him a chance as a winger? Because he's little, he's quick, he can get a good cross in the box. But no one ever did.
He was a bit crap, Cito.
At defending, he was only at 4'2". He's smaller than you. But which say what he was. But yes, yesterday he tried him at right wing.
So how did he do at right wing?
Yeah, better than right back. I would have said actually.
It's got the pace, isn't it? And he can score goals, as we saw in those, in his first season.
So maybe in terms of
players, you get 4 goals, Matt.
Is that your prediction? Is it?
Yeah, I think you get 4.
What's that?
But as we were saying the other week, 4 towards that magical 80 target is good.
Yeah.
And it helps. Every little helps, as they say. I would maybe think they're still looking. I think we're 4 players away, mostly depth. And I think maybe right wing is a position they need to look at. If they're thinking you've got Wes Burns, after him, who have you got? KVY? But then you make yourself a little bit weaker by playing Donatian. I like Donatian, but he's not an attacking fullback. Yeah. He's not in that cookie mould, if you like.
Well, no one really knows where to play Donatian. I mean, he goes on loan to Fleetwood. They played him left back, didn't they? So no one really knows where to play him, I think.
Absolutely. Who'd you send it to, though? Because Wolfenden and NCR played there all pre-season. You've brought Edmondson in. I want to know who you're playing, and if you're playing Edmondson over one or the other, who has dropped and why are they dropped?
Well, I don't know about you, Rich, but I've got Toto and Wolfenden for the fact that they played yesterday. I don't think you're going to give someone a game straight away in a league game. I'd like to have seen Edmondson maybe yesterday, but the fact he didn't play speaks volumes. I think Toto and Wolf will be there for this game anyway.
I think Edmondson starts if he's fit. I think he'll play.
Over who?
Risky though, isn't it? We're talking about jelly.
I've left it blank. I've left it blank because I still want another centre back. I still want that experienced centre back. Tom Lees is out of the question now, since he's just gone to Huddersfield. Wolfenden seems to have gone backwards for me. If I had to pick, I said the other day, I'll play Toto. Okay. He was fairly solid when he second half. He was in the running, Matt, to be, I'd say, player of the year. But I still want better than him.
Who was?
Toto was last season.
I must have had a bang on the head.
He was. He was. Him and Wilson were probably our best 2 players.
Yeah. Wilson only played like 12 games. That was a disgraceful vote, that one. Really was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you can play Edmondson if he's not played pre-season. I don't get it.
Because he didn't say that, didn't he? Yesterday, he sort of alluded to that in his post-match, didn't he? That players will probably play who had not had a lot of football. Look, how many friendlies have we had? We had Dartford.
Not as many as I'd like.
Well, yeah, but it's truncated because of COVID. Because normally we'd have gone abroad or we'd probably gone to Ireland or somewhere. So it is what it is. You just have to get on with it. Everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? Really, I see. Going away from that, Martin, the girls' game was cancelled again today. So there's another team they've not played enough football. So a lot of teams are in the same boat. Let's just get going. They've not signed Edmondson, I don't think, to sit in the stands or on the bench. If he's fit, he plays. But
I just don't see how he would have gelled to make a partnership.
Well, you don't gel no plan, though, do you? In all fairness, at some point you've got to make that.
Well, he starts on the training ground, but he signed late last week, didn't he?
The thing is, I see your point of view, but I do think centre half bedding him in is a lot easier than, say, Chaplin, who plays behind the striker.
Well,
centre half, you've got half the pitch. You got, you cover this half.
I'm going to contradict myself in a minute with Chaplin. I'm going to contradict myself.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. I would say it depends on what you want. I think Enciala gives you more thrills than Wolfenden, but he also gives you more chills. So he'll give you a 7 out of 10 one week, but a 4 out of 10 the next week. Wolfenden will just give you 6 out of 10. That's where he's reached at the moment. That's where he's got to. Just a solid 6, nothing special and nothing catastrophic. Like you never thought yesterday, oh my God, what is he doing? Enciala had 2 instances yesterday where you thought, oh my God, what is he doing? You get those at least every week from Enciala. But you also equally get some, as Rich has alluded to there, some really great performances from Enciala. So it depends on what you want. Me, old-fashioned, give me 6 out of 10 steady Eddie every day of the week. I don't want heart attacks.
I think you get away with it anyway next week. I don't think Morecambe will cause us a lot of problems. We'll be causing them problems. Like I said I think it was Thursday's, was it? No, it was Tuesday's show after Colchester, Martin. You could play against Morecambe and get away with it.
That's a little bit disrespectful.
It is. I don't like it when you guys do that. It gives me. I'm a big superstitious bloke, and I hate it. I have to go off air in a minute and literally
no problems.
Come on, we've been down this road before. They've got promoted for a reason. They've had a lot of big turnaround of players as well, haven't they?
Yeah, Ryan Penny looks a bit of a liability. Need another left back.
Well,
left back. Who's your start? Well, at the moment, it's either Kenlock or Penny, and Kenlock is well out of the equation. It seems. So
Kenlock's your bomb squad, right? So it's got to be Penny. It's got to be Penny.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Penny.
But
left field. They won't left field going for you. Donasian.
Jesus Christ.
But he's not. They've not played him there, have they? In pre-season. No. I don't see Cook putting these curveballs in. Like I say, I feel Toto and Wolfenden have got a partnership, so I feel that's going to be for next week. And Penny's been playing, therefore I think he'll play next week.
I'm not a fan of Penny. From what I've seen, he's looked limited in a number of different areas.
In terms of what, sort of defending? Because he's
defending. He wasn't quick enough getting out yesterday for the third. I think it was the third from the corner.
Yeah.
Attacking wise, I don't think him and Dobra have linked up particularly well, but we'll get to Dobra in a second. I just don't look at him and say, "Wow, what an instant upgrade over Miles Kenlock." I haven't seen it. It's only 2 games.
Yeah.
That's the clause in that comment.
That's damning on Penny, isn't it? It's not much of an upgrade from Kenlock.
Is he an upgrade on Ward?
Oh, yes, of course he is. I mean, a body is an upgrade on.
Well, I was reading Neil Warnock, and he's not letting Coulson go yet, is he? Because he says they're obviously quite thin on the ground. I'd like to think that we've got other irons in the fire when it comes to left back. We don't want to be sitting and waiting. Get someone in. Get somebody in.
He is good, that Coulson. I've got a Borough fan. So again, he's probably too good for League One. So,
do you think if you get a left back in this week, I think that almost could settle who plays centre half? Because you wouldn't play a left-sided player and then bring Edmonds in for Wolfenden, because that would be 2 new players on the same side. So it almost suggests if you're going to start with a new left back, you then would go Wolfenden, who's played left side of the back for all pre-season, maybe.
Good point. Yeah, I think Penny will play there regardless, whether or not someone comes in or not.
Okay. Midfield 2, easy.
Just quickly, you could go 3 centre backs, Martin. I know you like 3-5-2, and then you could have KVY left wing back, and you could have Burns right wing. I'm not saying for this game, but through the season, look, I know he did say, didn't he? He's 4-2-3-1 cookie. That's what he plays. But I'm just thinking outside the box a little bit.
From my position, it was a little bit hard because I hate being more or less ground level because you can't quite see what I want to see. But from what I was seeing at times before he brought the Nassian on, I did think he went to a 3, and I thought he was playing Harper when we had the ball. This was as that third right centre half. That's what it looked like from my position. Whether or not that was correct, I can't validate it, but that's what it looked like.
Just dropping in and getting the ball.
Yeah, dropping in, you shifted.
Used to.
Yeah, well, a lot better. And then KVY was being pushed further on and having little to do defensively. That's what it looked like. Whether that was how it turns out or not. Midfield 2, Evans and Harper. That's just got to be right. So we know.
So I think we can pretty much presume then Evans is going to be the new captain. I would say.
Yes, well, you'd called that since he arrived.
Yeah. I was just thinking because we were led to believe Sonny Bradley was coming in. I always thought always thought Cook was pushing for him to be the skipper, but it seems like Evans is going to take over. And was Evans was he vocal like a Chambers in the park yesterday?
No, Matt Holland. He leads by the way he plays. Easy.
He wasn't captain at Wigan, was he? The keeper was captain at Wigan. Jones. I think his name's Jones.
I don't profess to know a lot about Wigan, but he started poorly for me, and he grew into the game. And I think obviously he's got a little bit of a rust to shake off, not being fit, not played a competitive game. Might have had a few training games, but not competitively. So he started tentatively, grew into the game, and by the 90, just a really good player.
Was he doing the kind of the downs work? Was he that kind of box to box and trying to break up play, and then Harper be more of the playmaker, or was it around the other way?
No, when we have Baz on the show throughout the season, if you asked him what Liam does well and what he doesn't do well, you flip it. It's what Harper does well and what Harper doesn't do well. They've really brought in a midfield 2 for me that complement each other. And Evans will do what he does really well, and sometimes they'll overlap, and equally will do the downs role as you just asked.
Yeah.
But together, They are there's not going to be a single midfield pair in this league that's better than them two. I'm going to tell you that now.
It's good to
I'm
hear.
going to tell you that right this minute.
Yeah, cool. That's good to hear, isn't it?
They were good. We didn't get beat 3-0 yesterday because them two weren't good.
Yeah. Okay.
They were just as good as the midfield two for Millwall.
Yeah.
There was other areas of the pitch that we weren't quite at it. That's why we got beat 3-0. But that's chemistry. I said to Colin on the phone yesterday, Millwall scored their goals because they knew the runs. They knew the left back was going to overlap at this moment and play him in. Then the striker was going to check.
Yeah.
We didn't. There's a couple of occasions yesterday where Piggott and Bon both checked, and then 5 minutes later, both went because previously they'd both checked. So they were now in the other mindset of, well, he checked, so I'll go. So they both went. That will come and develop. That's why we got beat 3-0. Chemistry. And those things you can't buy, you can't sell. They just grow it. So that's why we got beat. Okay. Who else is in midfield for you two then?
It's them two. It's them two. They're the two key players in my team, Evans and Harper.
Yeah.
I think it's key that they play the majority of this season. Because
100%.
if you look beyond them as your backup at the minute, John Nolan, not fit. After him, who have you got?
What is wrong with Nolan at the moment? He's not featured at all pre-season.
Calf injury.
Is it calf now, is it?
Yeah.
He's someone else who keeps getting injured. From when he signed with us, he didn't finish that season, did he, when we got relegated?
I still feel a little bit disappointed that, Downs is as frozen out as he is.
Agreed.
But I don't know if that's because he's on a particularly high wage, which Ashton did say we are, obviously removing the championship wages from our books to bring these players in.
He can't be on championship wages.
I don't know. Did he sign a new deal on the championship before Palace came in for him? I'm sure he did.
I can't remember. He certainly went out that loan spell at Luton, didn't he? And then came back to us. I don't know. I'd be very surprised. How old is he now?
Well, 20. He's early 20s, isn't he? I can't tell you exactly how old he is. But then you've got, like, midweek, we heard about standards and culture.
Yeah.
I mean, you in the end as fans, you start guessing as to why players are frozen out. Is it standards and culture? Is it the wage? Is it something else? Is it just he didn't react well, or they don't like each other, or
he wishes he was at Crystal Palace?
Yeah, don't start.
I don't think Flynn's a bad egg. I honestly don't. I just think he's been a kid who was poorly advised by his agent to start with, and that's the slippery slope that he got on.
Well,
it must be very difficult to come back from the blow of Crystal Palace putting in 3 bids for you. None of them go anywhere, and you have to carry on playing in the third tier English football. Well, as a young lad, I can imagine that probably would piss him off.
You know how I feel about that. You know how I feel.
Ambition, isn't he?
Because I don't think that, that transfer requests, as an agent recently said to The Athletic, are a waste of time. You only do that to make the selling club look like, we had no option. And under the previous regime, I can firmly believe that would be the case. We need to sell you. We don't want to sell you because it will cause a massive heartache. So we'll say you put a transfer request in, and we'll go from there. Look, don't start me.
I think a lot of fans would perceive transfer requests as boat rocking, wouldn't they? Oh, I'm out of here. Here's the transfer request. And then goes, what? You want to leave? I think that's probably how we perceive it. I would say behind closed doors and behind the scenes.
You see Jordan in the comments there. You want to speak to Hawks about Flynn because a couple of years ago, he'd done the mental health thing with Chambers and Flynn, and he speaks to him and he knows him. So people out there binning Flynn off, speak to Hawks and he'll tell you what he's like.
You were binning him off earlier last season, Reg.
I didn't bin him off. I wasn't binning him off. I wanted him to stay. I'd still keep him now. Honestly, there's still room for him at the football club, but obviously...
I'm going to read you something I read from The Athletic, and I'm just going to read it because it hit home to me, and there's a lot of in this article which I would suggest you go and read that you could almost read into the situation. The last bit was, if you wondered why any mention of putting a transfer request had been left to last, it's for good reason. That's just embarrassing, says an agent. What is it? You're handing in a letter saying you want to leave. What the hell does that do? I'm handing a transfer request. Oh, good for you. In fact, it transpires somewhat ironically that the request is usually submitted these days to help the selling club. They ask you to put one in after the deal's agreed, so they can say the player asked to leave, another agent explains. You have to give that as part of the negotiation ploy to get out, because the chairman always says the fans are going to kill us. That's the story in The Athletic about transfers and about the transfer requests.
Football politics. Yeah.
Was it the one you sent me at midnight?
Well, yes, it was, because...
I woke up at 3 o'clock and just stand by it because it was too long.
Well, if you hand in a transfer request, Rich, Are you playing Braintree, or are you sat at home saying I'm not playing for this football club anymore?
No.
Come on.
Did he play yesterday? Did he play at Stowmarket yesterday, Downs?
I don't know.
He does come across as, like Hogs is saying in the chat there, does come across as a good lad. But yeah, I feel like any young lad who's in their from late teens to early 20s gets, linked to a Premier League club, you probably want to go there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Michael Finch, all well and good winning against the likes of Morecambe, but if we can't beat the likes of Rotherham, Wednesday, Wigan, Charlton, we're doomed.
Well, you've got to take each game. Come on, Mike. You've got to take each game as they come, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, we got beat, what was it, by 5-0 by Charlton, who were league below at the time?
6-1 it was, wasn't it?
There you go. So freezing doesn't mean anything.
Then what happened? We won the first 5 games of the following season.
Was that the playoff year?
No, that was the... Was it mixed last season? Yeah, it was mixed last season.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah, wait to see about Flynn. I was I just think if Evans goes down injured again, or Harper, God forbid Harper, I mean, best player we've probably got, I'd be worried about depth.
I see Callie tweeting about him in about 4 years' time. He's going to be worth 20 million.
Yeah,
well, again, we had Chris, my friend from West Brom on, and I was chatting to him about Harper. And he said the problem we've got, of course, is keeping him motivated across 46 games because he looks good in fits and spurts. But the reason why they've sold him is he drops down. So here we are. We've only had a snapshot of him across 2 games. If he could consistently do that, he'd still be at the Hawthorns. So I think we have to be mindful.
Martin shining up that Rose Bowl for him already, Matt, for the Player of the Year.
I know. This is what prompted us to have the conversation on the phone. He said if he was that good every week, he'd be in the West Brom team, not in Ipswich in League One. So there you go. Just something to be wary of.
We'll flip that and say he's now playing in League One, not in the Championship or Premier League. So even if he puts it together for 35 games and has 10 games off, or 36 games and has 10 games off.
That's easy to say, don't it? Oh, if he just does it for 35 games, it's only keep him fit for 35 games.
You did link him to Jet, if I remember rightly. So maybe you were closer than you thought.
Yeah. I remember when everyone was like, oh, God, we're getting Jet from Arsenal. Oh, fantastic. If he was really that brilliant, he'd still have been at Arsenal, right? So you have to think there's some kind of issue there, which is why he's dropping down. But I mean, to get
stop Adam's comment up on the screen.
Yep.
Adam Blunt. There's no restrictions coming down from Yarmouth if he wants to come down to a game.
Nope.
Just got to have your 2 jabs or your negative test, haven't you?
Unless there's a special thing about people in a Norfolk postcode. I don't know.
How did it work yesterday, Martin? When you went, just changing the subject, when you went in, was there a different... did you have to show your test outside before you went into the turnstile?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I was going to say.
Yeah, you did. So there I was fumbling around.
Guy with a little scanner or something. Is that how it works?
No, steward says ticket, show me ticket, show me card. Then you go through the turnstile. The lady who was behind the turnstile, or he, scans the ticket, and in you go. It does say, what masks are advisory. Masks are advisory.
Post that on social media like everyone else does.
Yeah. Hi, I've got a season ticket.
For once, I was before you two. Amazing. Midfield, right midfield. Is it Wes Burns? I suppose it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
He wasn't at it yesterday. He was a bit poor. Final ball wasn't there for him. It'll come. Who's behind the striker?
Well, I'm leaning on the fact that even though Cook said he does 4-2-3-1, he's not ruling out a second striker. And I think with the abundance of striking options we've got in terms of Bond and Piggott, I think he'll play 2 up front.
So you're going 4-4-2, Matt?
I think it will evolve slightly, and I think Fraser will be on that left, but maybe supporting the 2 strikers. But yeah, I'd have Fraser on that left, even though he's been brought in as a cam. Yeah, that's where I see it happening.
Fool.
I mean, look, it's not set in stone, is it? It's a fluid formation, so they can bring you into the middle or up into a 3 at the top. I think you've got to be evolving, haven't you, during the game? There's no point just sort of sitting on a formation and so be it. Evolve as the game goes. And if you've got people that can play across multiple positions, so be it.
But I see him, I think it was Colchester game he played on the left, didn't he, Martin Fraser? And he always wanted to come inside. Now, if your fullback's getting forward, fair enough, but you're just leaving a big hole out there.
Yeah.
Fraser plays the 10. He plays the 10. If he's not fit, I'll play another striker.
Okay, so who's your 10? Is it Fraser?
Yeah, Fraser. If he's fit, if not, okay. I'll play Bon.
Okay. Bon and Pigott were playing yesterday, but it wasn't a 4-4-2. It was a 4-4-1-1 with Pigott behind Bon. Just so if you are going with those two, Matt, that probably is how he would line up.
I think you'd have to go those two strikers. I mean, Bon's got to play, right? He's coming on loan from QPR. He wouldn't have bothered. He isn't going to be starting games, would he? So no. I feel like it will be him. And how can you leave out a guy who scored 20 goals in a team that was nearly relegated? So I think it has to be Bon and Pigott to start.
Chaplin came on, played predominantly, exclusively behind the striker in the 10. Just for those wondering where he'll fit in, I think maybe he'll feature there. He looked okay.
He's diminutive, isn't he? He's about 5'7", 5'8", I'd say.
I linked him a little bit to Dobra in the sense, in their playing style being ball to feet, sticky control, turn, look to beat a man, dip a shoulder, those type of things. His stature reminded me a lot of Paul Taylor in the sense of his height and his build. Well, Paul Taylor at League One level was a good player. Ask Posh fans. He broke his foot, unfortunate circumstances, new manager who wanted certain things or didn't want certain things. Who knows where that story would have gone if Jewel had stayed in charge. Because he did come on for his debut. Paul Taylor looked okay. Anyway, but behind the striker, I'd just go Pigott, I think. Pigott and Bon again. Bon was quiet. Pigott was a handful.
What happens if Fraser's fit, Martin? What are you doing?
If I'm going Pigott up top with Fraser behind.
Yeah, that's
if
what
Bon wants to start, Bon has to earn it.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're on loan from Real Madrid.
So there are four strikers now. Are they Pigott, Bon, Chaplin, and Norwood? That's what we're saying.
And Jackson.
Oh,
I think
on the squad though, isn't he?
This isn't no. And I think this isn't any sort of I've been told it or any crap like that. I think Norwood and Jackson are probably a deadlock. And if one team came in for one of them, I think one would be allowed to leave and the other would just slot into where that person was. I think in terms of strikers, it's Pigott, Bon, then you've got Chaplin, you've got I'm thinking of a name, I can't think of it right now. I can see him, but I can't think of it. Give me your strikers. Who are the strikers at the football club?
Norwood and Jackson.
Norwood, Jackson.
Yeah, so you don't need all of those. So it'll just be one or the other.
You said one will miss out. If you're going to play one up front, do you?
No.
You know what I mean? One's got to go. I'm sure Jackson will go. Well, if there's takers.
Possibly. Exactly. It'll be who comes in for them. Left wing then. Who are you going for?
Well, I would have had Fraser on that left side.
Okay.
If I was playing with my 4-4-2, obviously. He can, but again, he's evolving, isn't he? He can come up and support a free. He can fit in as behind the strikers. Got to be fluid, haven't we, in these formations? Paul Lambert was always 2. We can't play anything other than this. 4-3-3. That was it, wasn't it?
Hopefully, someone coming in for Norwood. Look, Cook may see Norwood differently to how I see it. I just think you can't have them all on the bench, so someone will miss out on the squad. Jackson's suddenly come back into it.
I'd like to have them. I'd keep them all. If I could keep them for the season, I think you're going to need them all. You're going to need goals from everywhere.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to keep them all. And Norwood's on a... He's on a...
He's on some whack, isn't it? Norwood is on some hefty whack. We outbid Old City for him for wages.
So, if Mickey Millen picked up the phone and said, we'll pay 30% and take him on loan, and that's the only offer you've got, maybe he would go. I don't know. I just think they're a dead heat at the moment, Jackson and Norwood, and both from the outside looking in, if you like.
Well, they're old guard as well, aren't they? They're from the old era. People want new era.
Matt Wingard, keep Norwood, Jackson must go. But again, it's in football, it's who wants who. And if someone comes in this week or next week for Norwood and not Jackson, the club will say, well...
What's the logic, though? Because 2 seasons ago, we gave Jackson our player of the year, didn't we, Rich? He led in goals and he led in assists. Norwood hasn't given you that return.
Out of the 2, I'd keep Norwood.
But for what reason? Why, though?
Because he got 10 goals last year and he was half fit. He got 11 goals the year before. He was about 70% fit. I think he'll get some goals. I don't like him as a person, but I think he'll get some goals.
Okay.
And I don't think Jackson, the way we play, where does he fit in the system? He doesn't.
Disagree.
Well, again, it depends whether or not Cook decides to go with 2 up top, doesn't it? That's where Jackson... That's said, of course, though. When he was bought by Paul Hurst played 1 up front and bought Jackson. So I don't know.
I think Cookie really values pace.
Yeah,
Jackson's got
I agree.
pace. And you could
Yeah.
slot him in. He wouldn't play particularly well on the wings, but you could slot him in at a push, and he brings pace and stretches teams. And which I know Matt likes that phrase.
No, Norwood's more of an instinctive finisher, isn't he? I think you have to be probably where he's come from the non-league and into League Two. Yeah, I mean, ideally you could merge them together, right? So you got the pace and the instinct. Hopefully we'll get the other.
Both wouldn't be here.
Piggott and Bond, yeah.
But they are. Left wing for you, Crunch? Go on, sorry, Matt.
I was going to say, will Mark Ashton be looking at that list of strikers and saying, well, Norwood's on a hefty whack. We outbid Marcus Evans outbid Hull City, who were in the Championship at the time, and he's sitting on the bench. It's a lot of money to have sitting on the bench, I think, in wages.
Ashley, Cook made Norwood captain in the last season. He was to play a game time this year. I don't know if Cook really values that armband. I think because like you've had Enciala, who we're talking about. In that respect, Enciala's a shoo-in to play with Edmondson, right? Because he's been captain.
I think he was just giving it to senior players, wasn't he, as the season?
It's a good point, Mash, though. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
But then he would have played yesterday, wouldn't he? And anything started.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Piggott is your hustle and bustle. Norwood's your hustle and bustle. I think Piggott's ahead of him in the pecking order.
Scored double amount of goals than he did last season in a team that then he got relegated. So that tells you.
He'll get 24. I'll put my neck on the line, Matt, on Tuesday night. Piggott will get 24 league goals.
He looked the most like scoring yesterday. If a goal was coming,
I don't know. Look, we've had one. Look, how many people have scored 20 plus goals in the last decade? Murphy, 27. That's it.
22 in a team that was struggling down the bottom of the league. So he's a decent player. Left-sided, were you going for, Martin?
Yes, please, sir.
Dobra.
Why?
You don't rate him and you don't like him, do you?
No, I don't. There you go. It's an easy answer. No.
Why don't you rate him?
I just don't see what people see in him. His decision making, which he can always get better at, but his decision making currently is not good enough.
Lloyd Gladden is hitting the nail on the head. Really think Dobra should be given more respect.
He has shown the previous flock how to fight for his badge.
Exactly.
I think it means loyalty and his most improved player, still very young.
Well, you're saying he's in that. You're saying he's in that three. If we play one up top, are you saying he's in that three?
To start with, look, this is where I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I said Edmondson plays. I know he's not had a lot of football, and this is where Chaplin for me. He came on for 20 minutes yesterday. Don't think he's played enough football. And I know you were going to say, but you're playing one and you're not playing the other. But I just think Dobra's played a lot of pre-season games, and I've been quite impressed with him. So I think for Saturday, I'm not saying going forward for the season. We'll just see how it goes. But I think he deserves that start on Saturday.
I'd rather Chaplin that one than left.
Is he not really a number 10 though, Dobra? A cam. That's his real position, isn't he? But again, he's been floated around all over the shop by Paul Lambert, and probably now Cook's wondering where he plays.
I think you're going to find this season though, Dobra. Look, like who was it said on Thursday night, Martin? Was it Mark Ashton or was it Cookie saying about when the young players came in last season, they were sort of ahead of the senior players? Who said that? Or he said something alluding to that, didn't he?
Cookie said, the reason you play young players is because the first team is shit. So when they've come in,
they weren't ready.
He didn't say shit, but
they've been fast. They've been fast.
This is where I'm thinking now. Dobra's going to have better players around him. You know, he's got Harper, he's got Evans, you got Fraser. I think he's got better players around him, and I think he's a type of player. He needs a little bit of love. I think if he gets a goal or two, I think he could be a real. I'm not going to say he's going to be starting every week, but I think he could do some damage this season in this league. I really do.
I've heard this conversation before. You just sub out Dobra and put in Dazelle.
From what I've heard, from what I've seen, Dobra is your typical Cookie mould, sticky control, likes to beat the man, not like Chaplin. I think Chaplin's further ahead than Dobra as you would expect. So I would start with
240 games, Martin. Chaplin.
Exactly. However,
I'm just saying for Saturday.
Yeah, but no, you know, again. Dobra's decision-making is just not good enough at this point of his career. There was a couple of occasions yesterday, it happened right in front of me. He come inside, he brought two players with him, and Evans was barking for the ball. Because if Dobra lays it to Evans, Evans has got a penny on the overlap, literally stood in acres because the two players have come with Dobra, and Dobra then loses the ball, and away they go. And then Evans has a little bit of a moan at Dobra because you brought two players in. Now's the time the decision-making needs to be release it, not look to be a one-man team, and beat 4 or 5 players and have a shot.
I said that. I did say that though on Tuesday. I did say that he needs. That's what he does need to learn, and he's still young enough to learn. I'm just saying for Saturday, it's only the amount of minutes that Chaplin's played. 20 minutes. No one knows where his fitness is as well. So, and if he starts Chaplin, I think if Chaplin plays, he'll probably only get an hour, and then Dobra will come on. So
yeah, I think Dobra will be the bench. I would say Dobra will be the bench. It'll be a good impact player to bring on, maybe. There's still niggles me he didn't go on loan though. I still think a loan would do him good.
That's what I like about him. He's got a bit of devil and he's got a bit of fight, Matt, and he wants to be here. He wants to play. And we can say, going back to Flynn Downs, Flynn didn't want to be here. Dobra wants to be here. He wasn't set to train with the first team at the start of the season, and then he made that list again.
Hang on. You can't be comparing Downs going to Crystal Palace and Dobra saying no to the singing postman at bloody Crawley.
I think you're being disrespectful, Martin. Like Lloyd said, he bangs a couple of goals in Saturday, you'll be fucking dancing up and down.
Of course I will be, but he ain't going to fucking do it. He's not looked like scoring unless he's played against bloody Luke Chambers.
I'll tell you what, if he starts Saturday and he bangs a goal in, I'm straight on the phone. I'm waving to you over in the comments then.
I won't be able to find, just like I wasn't.
I do feel like. Do you think Dobra ducked that loan move? Do you know what I mean? He'd rather stay in the comfort zone of the training ground.
It's gone now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know, he's here. He's a decent player at this age.
Yes.
There's just better options.
What was his name, Matt? John Yems.
John Yems. Yeah.
Could have sorted him out, wouldn't they?
Well, they ended up signing Mark Wright, didn't they?
The singing postman. I couldn't remember his name, so I went with the singing postman instead of Crawley.
If you've not seen the Mark Wright joining Crawley documentary, I think it's still on BBC iPlayer.
Hawk 1. More chance of me and Steve pumping in Preston than a Dobra double. Love it. Mike D. Holy wants to be here. He should be training with the Moscow State Circus. Fisherman Dobra will go further than some of our so-called wonder players. Robert Grimsey, good win for Phoenix. Stephen Parry, I worry we are doing what PC says, preparing our youth before they're ready. I think Dobra will be a good player. Whether he's better than, as the Fisherman says, I
think he's
like
raw.
Dobra.
He's raw,
dynamic, and he likes to beat a player and go at a player. And you know, like yesterday, he got wiped out. I mean, it was literally a clothesline from hell, more or less. It was more at home in the WWE ring. I mean, about 8 foot in the air, poor bloke. How he got up from it, I don't know. But that's what he can do. He can draw a foul.
Just so everyone knows, we want Dobra to have a really good season. I've been a Dobra fan. I mean, we was playing in the Papa John's, scored that worldie against Gillingham. Fantastic. Not sitting here thinking, oh, he's going to we don't want him to have a crap. We want him to have a crap season. I hope he does push on. I hope he does. But yeah, you know, I feel like, as Cookie said, you know, a lot of the youth players have come through before they're probably ready. That's why I feel like a loan would have been good. But we've got to get down to this 11 that's going to get us promoted. I keep saying this rather than leaning on youth.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. We've done the 11. It's going to be interesting what you know, how the first couple of games. I think we'll probably see a lot of rotation in those first couple. Not a lot, 1 or 2 maybe change, just as we adapt. And as Cookie said, he's going to go like sometimes 2 at home, 1 away. You know, but we'll change to suit us, not the opposition.
I'm expecting a slow start, actually. Having looked through, I mean, we mentioned this the other night. Having looked through his previous starts with Pompey and Wigan, we've got 2 difficult away games that follow, haven't we? And we've got to take Newport out of the equation. We'll go to Burton. We had a real renaissance, didn't they, under Jimmy Floyd? And then we go to Cheltenham, champions of League 2, champions for a reason. Not a big club in terms of Ipswich's names, but champions for a reason. I think there'll be 2 tough away games. Don't think we're going to go there and get 6 points. I don't think we will.
Hang on, let me just consult my my club sent fixtures. I love these. I used to sit at work, right, and literally go through the games and put in what I thought was going to happen and what I was going to go to and whatnot. I never did any work.
Do you stick it on the fridge? I normally stick that on the fridge.
No, I'll lose this within 5 minutes. I usually give it to the wife and say, there you go. This is when I'm busy. But now you can basically just give the whole thing over and say...
You know what my mum does? You know what my mum does, Matt? As soon as the fixture's out, gets the East Anglian and then puts the big centre spread on the inside of the cupboard in the kitchen.
Good that. I like that. It's good.
Right. So you got Morecambe, Newport in the cup, Burton, Cheltenham. I think Cruncher, and I'll let you speak now, Crunch, because I'm not going to speak for you, but I reckon you think all of those winnable.
Well, I've just done the first 5 league games. I've gone Morecambe win.
Yeah, great.
Burton Albion draw.
Win.
Cheltenham win. Although you've got to look out for that Ben Tozer, Matt, because he's got an absolute bullet of a throw-in.
Yeah, the throwing guy. Yeah.
MK at home, I've gone draw.
You're rating them this season, aren't you? Although have they lost the manager? Has he gone?
He's going to Swansea, isn't he, Russell Martin?
Yeah.
And they got walloped yesterday 5-0 by Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup, didn't they? And then I've gone Wimbledon win. So 3 wins, 2 draws in the first 5.
That wouldn't be a bad return. Not a bad start at all.
I'd agree. Morecambe's a win. I think Burton and Cheltenham. I think Burton will be a draw. Could come unstuck at Cheltenham. That worries me going to these little grounds. Wadden Road. I'll say draw. I don't want to be too negative. 5. Milton Keynes, I think, will beat at home, hopefully. And I think Wimbledon will beat. So I think the 2 away games could be draws. Maybe a loss.
Same as me then, 11 points.
Yeah,
just
maybe a loss. Maybe a loss. Maybe a loss in one of those away games.
As we all know, I am fantastic at point return totals. So, in my expert opinion, this is how I see it.
Go on.
Here we go.
Are you?
No, I'm not. I'm fucking awful. But we're going to go with the narrative. We're going to go with the narrative that I'm brilliant. Just because I pay the bills around here. Right. Morecambe, win. Easy. No, not easy. Just going to scrape it 1-0. Fans will be worried about it. Burton will win 2-1. Last gasp winner. Joe Pigott, back post. Boom. I'm giving you goal scorers now. Look, I'm that confident. Cheltenham will win. MK Dons will win. And Wimbledon will win as well.
What the hell?
15 points over 15 as well.
I can go further into September. We'll beat Wigan. We'll beat Bolton. We'll beat Lincoln. We'll beat West.
Have we not learned anything from the last 2 seasons in this bloody league?
No.
That ain't going to happen. That's not
What I'm trying to tell you here is when I do these things, I'm always Mr. Ipswich and I'm never Mr. Look at it objectively. So it'll always be a win. Like, we should beat them. We should beat them, man. Look, who knows? It's going to be football. There could be a referee decision. Yesterday, referee was absolutely diabolical. Really bad.
I'm disappointed if we lost any of them games, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we still
the only one possibly that we might lose. The only one possibly is Burton away, Matt.
I think Burton and Cheltenham away are 2 really tough games. I mean, we'll find out. We might miss it. But I mean, I personally think looking at them, they're going to be tough games. But if we do start the season slowly, so be it. Cook's been there before. Sunderland started poorly last season. Blackpool started poorly last season, and look, then they finished 3rd and 4th respectively in the league. So
I'm gutted I can't go to Cheltenham. I'm gutted because I wanted to knock that ground out because we won't play them next year because we'd be up, wouldn't we?
If MK Dons are going to be as good as they're advertised to be, it's a really good time to play them there because you've got a squad that's been built for a possession-based coach.
True.
So you're going to have to either find a possession-based coach that wants to come to MK Dons without really a window to work in, or you're bringing somebody who's a journeyman just to get you through, and he won't know what to do with that squad at that point of his reign. So it's a really good time.
Yeah,
if they're going to be as good as they are to play them there now.
Because they tried that. They tried
Pete
that.
Winkleman, Matt. Pete Winkleman. Pete Winkleman. Is he doing this? I think he gets some. He's quite a canny guy. I think he'll pick a good. I don't think he'll go for the old has-been manager. I think he'll go for a young, decent coach like Russell Martin. I think he'll go someone like that. I don't know who. Off the top of my head.
He did try Tisdale, didn't he? The guy from Exeter. Didn't really work out, did it? But we'll see. Whoever's available. I can't see MK trying to go and snare someone from another club. I think they'd have to go.
If you're an up-and-coming manager, let's say you're David Wright, who's got a really good reputation at Norwich. If you're an up-and-coming coach, do you take a job like that without any window now? Because there's no budget left, I'd have thought, in which to really operate in a season. Because football's short-term memory. If you go in there and foul within 3 months and you're sacked, the reputation you had counts for naff all because people will go, well, he fouled there. They'll bring
in the other governor again, Incy.
You did ask, didn't you, Crunch, where is Paul Ince these days? So there we go. Lambert or Hurst, next MK Dons manager. I can see someone like Paul Lambert going because he needs that opportunity. Yeah. He's that journeyman I was talking about.
Yeah. Not Hurst. Lambert could be a shout.
There we go. Right, on to the fearsome 4. Links in the chat. Get involved in this. There will be prizes. It's a prediction league. These are the games coming up. It's going to be local games, as I said at the start of the show, but Norwich, because they don't kick off just yet, are not part of it. So we've got week 1. We've got Ipswich versus Morecambe. Carlisle versus Colchester. Bolton versus MK Dons. and Cambridge versus Oxford.
Oh.
I know.
Boat race fight.
Boat race fight. Yeah, boat race derby.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought. You have, just like the Euros, predict the score. Use the link. Predict the score. And the wild card game this week, I've featured two teams I thought you both might have a little bit of an affinity to or a link to. Newmarket Town versus Long Melford. Long Melford, obviously, Jamie Bradbury, a good friend of yours there, Matt.
Yeah,
in charge at Long Melford. And Newmarket Town is close to Crunch. To let you know, Newmarket kicked off.
Shinny. They won 2-1 yesterday, Newmarket.
They did. They beat Kirkley and Pakefield.
Is that at Newmarket?
Yeah, it is, yes.
Oh, there you go.
So that is your games. The link is there. All get involved. There'll be spot prizes. I'll announce what the spot prizes and how you qualify for them will be as we go through the league. It's a bit of fun. Fearsome 4. For those listening on audio platforms, head to Twitter. You'll find the link on my pinned account at HDR Martin. There we go.
What is the score? What is the scoring? What is it? 3 points for a correct.
Same as Euros. Hence the wild card. So we can try and separate a few of the numbers. Because of the Euros, if you look at the finals, you've got quite a few, conjoined, because it was quite easy, let's be honest. You've got Switzerland versus France. More people would go for France than Switzerland or whatever.
I'll just be happy if I beat you two, to be quite honest.
Well, you didn't give this time, did you? Although I took myself out of it. Look, because I put myself in it. Got so much flack for putting myself in it that I took myself out of it again.
Did he? He's just saying that, isn't he? You can easily say that. You can easily say I got this right, I got that right. There's no evidence.
You bring in my integrity into this review. I don't like that. I don't know that.
I'm not saying that.
But there we go. Lloyd Glenn, predicting the score or who will win. Predicting the score. So, for example, Morecambe Ipswich, I'm going to say 1-0 Ipswich. And if I get correct, that's 3 points. If I'm wrong, I get 0 points. Simple as that.
What happens if it... No, hang on. So, if it's... You predict 1-0, Ipswich win 5-0, you should still get 2 points for the result.
Why? You weren't right.
You got it right.
That's the one in the Super 6. When they do the Super 6, you get 5.
Go and play the Super 6. Go and play the Super 6. Go and play the Super 6 then.
I'm playing it as well.
This ain't Sky Sports. This ain't Sky Sports, all right? We ain't got multi-millions of pounds we can do it with. We've got a couple of quid and a Haribo bag selection, all right? This is what we're doing.
You still got the UEFA Cup T-shirts to give away up in your spare room.
I have. That is correct. No, but I did think about that. You are right, and I will answer the question because it is a fair point. However, Ipswich this year are going to be so good that every game we're featured, you're going to be getting points just for us winning. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to separate the wheat from the chaff. Hence the Newmarket Long Melford. Plus, who doesn't want to feature some local non-league football?
Exactly. Good show.
Right. Where are we going next then, my friends?
I've got a crunching tackle for you.
Ooh, I like that. Let's play the theme tune to that one. There it is.
I don't know why, but my mum's just texted me saying, "What is Martin on?"
I'm on a mixture this week of... I can't disclose what I'm on. It's confidential between me and my doctor.
So yesterday, right, last Saturday, obviously before the football season returns...
Blue pill.
Oh, dear. Lower the tone.
Always.
Yeah, so... if you've lost me now. Obviously, yeah. Last Saturday before the football season returns, so I thought we'd have a romantic trip out, me and the wife. So we headed over to, it's in Essex, Matt, Finchinfield.
Very nice.
Lovely, picturesque. There's a little pond there. There's the ducks.
Yeah.
And we went to the Fox, which is a lovely pub there near the green. They get a lot of motorbikes over there, Matt, on a Sunday. The bikers come through. But yesterday it was quite quiet. I had a lovely ploughman's pie I had.
What's in that?
It's sort of chicken and it was ham.
Oh,
it was nice with a bit of chutney. Yeah. But as we were strolling through Finchinfield, where we parked the car, it was great. So on Friday, did you see the BMX racing in the Olympics?
Yeah.
And Beth Shriver, 22-year-old, won the gold.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Fantastic.
Yeah.
And where does she come from?
Well, Finchinfield.
She comes from Finchinfield. So as we're walking through, they must have got these done already. They've got little A4 little cards. Beth Shriver on her BMX, gold medal winner on all of the windows.
Nice.
Fantastic. And I thought,
Yeah.
look, BMX racing, it's not exactly, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really an Olympic sport. But fair play to her and Kai White, who he got silver, didn't he?
Silver. Yeah. Essex has got a big BMX culture. They had London 2012. I think it was at Hadley, the track just near Southend. So yeah, I used to have a BMX.
Did you have a BMX when you were younger?
Yeah, I did. Blue one.
But this morning they had the one where they're doing up on the ramps and doing all them turns and hands off the handlebars, and there was one where someone flips up. What?
Freestylers.
No chance. What are you doing? 360 spins.
Yeah.
You have a BMX, Martin?
No, I had a bike, plain old bike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I got for Christmas once. Do you remember the Grifters, Matt?
Yes, great bike.
Only one problem with a Grifter, they're really heavy, and I'll tell you what, you try to give it a wheelie, not a chance. You couldn't get it off. You couldn't get it off the ground.
One thing I've never worked out what kids do. I still see this around Chelmsford now. Is kids riding the bike with their jacket on, with their hands in their pocket, nowhere near the handlebar. They're just like this. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but going back to the Olympics, when they had the skateboarding on, they had a lad there from America. He came down, he's got his AirPods in, he's got his mobile phone in his pocket, and he's doing spins down the bloody banister. It's like, what's going on now?
That was really skillful. Skateboarding I never got into, but yeah, I watched that in the Olympics. Very skillful. Yeah.
I got it for Christmas, Colin. I got it for Christmas, a Grifter. It was covered up. I remember coming down Christmas morning. My mum had got it under the rug, big rug over it. I pulled it off, and there was a Grifter.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Right, recharge those glasses, and we'll have some Q&A. Awaydaysbeer.com. Proud to partner with Talking Town. For only $14.99, grab your ITFC Legends Pack from The Beat to Hoppy Robson to Brazil's Best and Pablo's Pal. Whatever you need, whatever you want. ITFC Legends Pack, $14.99 from awaydaysbeer.com.
It was red and black. It said, look, Grifter, blue or red. It was black with a bit of red on it. There you go.
I had a plain old yellow bike. And the bike. Anyway, Q&A. We'll cover it quickly because I think it's been covered, a fair amount. What did you both make of it? Crunchy, you were there, but didn't give us your reaction to it. So I'll have you first.
Just going on your reaction show with TJ, that was a fantastic show on Thursday evening. If you haven't watched it, anyone, just
he is good, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought very good. He needs to get to some games. Come on, you're only in Nottingham, TJ. Get yourself down. I'm sure someone will put you up for tonight.
I've offered, but he's just bought a house. So, when as well as I do, you buy a house, you've got boxes everywhere, you've got bills suddenly to pay, someone you've got to pay the rent. It's like, hang on, my mum's done that before me.
Quickly going back to the bike chat, Colin's just put in the chat, I had a penny farthing.
Jeremy Vine still rides those around London,
We got two guys in Chelmsford who ride through Central Park every Sunday.
For those listening on audio devices, Michael Finch from Ballroom Blue 41 with 8 kids. Mike, you've been changing gears between your legs for years, mate. There we go. Moving on. Go on, Rich.
I really enjoyed it. It was a really good evening, wasn't it? There was 100 of us in the room. And finally, we got some people in charge of our football club who've got a proper plan going forward. There's no five-year plans changing here, there, and everywhere. They all spoke really well. Mark O'Leary, Mark Ashton. Look, I know what Hawks is saying. I think Hawks says he could. Well, it was in the chat earlier. He's a good salesman, isn't he? He's real polished how he comes across. But Mike O'Leary is the one for me, guys, who didn't say a lot, but when he said something, I think you all listened, and it's like, there you go. You could sell a conservatory to a person who lives in a third-floor flat. But I was on Suffolk on Friday morning, and I said to Mark Murphy on there, now, Mike O'Leary reminds me of Patrick Cobbold, Matt. He's that grandfather figure who you'll sit on his knee and he'll tell you, like, yeah, do this, do that. If you step out of line, he'll give you a clip round the ear. And I think it all goes through him. I think he's the one who has the final say. And I just really liked the way he spoke. And it shows our football club for the last 13 years has been an absolute shambles. When it was like after it had finished, And I was having a joke with you, Martin, because you went the long way round. When I went out, I got let out behind the Sir Alf Ramsey stand where the away coach pulls in. I couldn't believe it. Fucking weeds. It looks an absolute shithole. And you think, Mark Ashton's embarrassed. You can tell when he talks about the stadium that he is, well, he said, didn't he? The seats haven't been cleaned for 2 years. And you think, little things like that, they're doing as much as they can for Saturday. And I think they did say they're going to try and paint every single yellow and white line in the stadium. But I suppose there's only so much at the minute they can do. But look, everything's positive going forward. But it does come down to what we do at 3 o'clock on a Saturday and 7:45 on a midweek. You know, that's where ultimately, at the end of the season, we'll be judged.
Yeah. Matt, obviously you watched it back. You watched it from afar. You were looking out like everyone else was to see Cruncher, which you saw.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was really, really good. I mean, it's night and day compared to the Evans era, wasn't it? And it's a real damning indictment, isn't it, on the Evans era that Mark Ashton and O'Leary have said this stadium's in complete disrepair. And that probably sums up why we're in the third tier. So it did piss me off a little bit to hear that, because we've just been treading water for the entirety of Evans' era. You know, my dad's not here anymore. It annoys me that he's not getting to see this era. He had to.
Likewise.
He's fighting, same with your dad, mine. Their final years was watching, you know, the Evans era, where we just went from, you know, being that kind of statement like club into the third tier and, you know, down amongst the dead men, my dad used to call it, you know, all these little shitty clubs. You know, don't disrespect, but Ipswich is bigger than that. But it's good that Ashton has got that they've got that plan to try and turn things around. The only disappointment that came out of it for me was when he said they couldn't be fit a women's game in this season on that pitch. Really? One? They couldn't fit one game in there? It's great they're going to change it up to a Deso. That'd be fantastic. So I think maybe the women's will have more of a background going forward, you know, be able to play there going forward. But they could fit one in there, I think.
No, I disagree. I disagree. Just because I do go with what Ashton was saying, and they said the pitch isn't great. We saw that last year in patches where it starts to cut up. You've got a number of under-23 games that you have to play at Portman Road. Just don't, like yesterday, after the game yesterday, the pitch it cut up quite considerably.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same token though, he's already said we're not going to prioritise League Cup. We're going to. I mean, Cook didn't even know what the competition was called. He called it Johnson Banks, didn't they? They're not going to prioritise Papa John's. So I feel like, you know, we'll already go out of those competitions early doors. You know, it would mean so much to the women's team to be able to play there. Certainly now that they're got 4 professionals there.
Can I ask you where you sit on that yourselves? Because obviously a lot of fans listened to that answer, and some were disappointed because we have a rich cup history, whereas some were not disappointed. Just to narrow it down a little bit, where do you two, as fans of the football club, sit, Matt? Where are you on that cup answer?
He was honest. That's what the takeaway I've got from it. That you know now if you go to any of them games, look, the FA Cup, he did say that's like after the league, but I think going forward with the Newport game coming up, I think he'll go quite strong that game. Because I still think he needs to, because he needs to bed in this team, doesn't he? So,
yes.
If you're going to... I don't want Matt coming on here when we've lost to West Ham 12-year-olds. And like he did last season for us. But look, he's telling us what it is. He's telling us where the priorities are. And we would like a trip to Wembley, Matt, you know, in the Carabao Cup. Or not in the Carabao, in the Papa John's. But it's not going to happen, is it? And it's just it's an annoyance. It's like he said when he was at Chesterfield, he got to the final with that, and then that affected their league form. But I suppose at Chesterfield, he wouldn't have had such a big squad that he'll have like now when he's at Town. So you're going to see your Humphreys playing in games like that, and some of the kids, and Holy will probably get a game. And yeah, it is what it is. It's the priority is the league this season.
What do you say to Facebook user here, Matt? Without Evans, we would not have a club.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But he was so hands-off, wasn't he, Evans? He was hardly ever, for most of his reign as owner of Ipswich, he was hardly ever there. Which is why I think you take your eye off the ball, and it goes past you, doesn't it? Hence the stadium's in disrepair. Hence we're in the third tier. But, his lasting legacy is selling to Game Changer. So fair play to him. He did sell to people that are going to turn this ship around. So fair play for that. But, he was not a football man when he joined. He didn't appoint football people in the key positions. Now you're seeing football people in the key positions and everyone's got to go. And quite right.
Going back to Evans, Matt, about the women's players turning pro, this was all done on Marcus Evans' watch. So I was speaking to Joe in the week. I said, Evans does get a lot of stick and a lot of it he deserves. But there is certain things like that he signed off when he was there. So we can't bin him for every single thing that he's done at the club.
Yeah, but you can for the majority, I feel.
Oh, yeah. He's mothballed. The stadium was mothballed. It's like the team. And you wonder why, going back, when Mick was there, you wonder why Mick got fed up, because he was always the one getting it in the air from us lot. When Evans is, where is he? On his yacht or hiding or doing his, like you say, Martin, when we walk down the drive, and there it was, we see that room with the chandelier hanging down, where Marcus done the two interviews in 13 years when he was at the club.
The Evans room, yeah. I couldn't substantiate it, and there may be someone who looks like him from a distance, but I thought Evans was there yesterday. And I did message you two saying,
yeah, you did.
I think he's here today from the box. Whether that's actually ends up to be
true. Still got 5% share, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know, but I couldn't substantiate it, and no one else obviously has mentioned it, but I thought it was interesting looking at the box and looks like him from a distance, but when
he was just bad at running a football club, wasn't he, Matt? That he didn't have. Look, fair enough if he wants to be the owner, but then put people in charge in positions where they know what they're doing. Look, Mark Ashton's been in the game for 30 years.
But are we? Mate? What is a football club though? What is a football club? And have you felt a part of that football club under Evans? So everyone else, it's different. Like Ipswich Town had still been in existence, but all these things you're saying today, are they existing or are they being left to rack and ruin? At what point would it have just?
When we spoke to Dara, he said that he thought, he's a football owner. From one football owner to another, he thought Evans was a good owner. And he had good intentions for us.
Owner in support of owner shock.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but now you're seeing what Ipswich is about. You are seeing. Like Rich says, O'Leary, he's like your grandfather. He's like that cobbled. He's got that Suffolk spirit, I feel. He gets it. Yeah. That's what we were calling for, wasn't it, earlier, last year. He gets it. And Ashton is your first spokesman since Sheepshanks left the club.
Okay. And Stephen, what do you make of the Q&A?
Hi, Steve.
I quite enjoyed it. There was lots of interesting questions that pulled up a lot of points that people were wanting to know. Yeah. And we weren't getting it, and we didn't get it from the last 13 years. Going back to just the Evans point. There was things that he did. At the end of the day, he did write off £80 million. He could still now turn around and say, "I want that money back." He didn't, and we have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, great, yeah.
The fact that this takeover happened all along was Marcus Evans was prepared to say, "Yes, I made mistakes. I'll pay for those mistakes," and that's fair enough. I respect that. Should we be in that position? No, we shouldn't. And that's on him. And he's paid for that. So I think we should just park it there and say, right, we've moved off now and we can move on somewhere else. He's still got his 5%. And I'm pretty sure if we get to the Premier League, he's going to make a nice chunk out of that. So that's on him. And he doesn't have to pay for it. So,
so leave him. Focus on the here and the now. What did you make of the Q&A with the here and the now?
I was looking at the way that people were saying, like, especially Ox was saying, like, Mark Ashton, because we don't know. He's only been here 40 days. There's not really a hell of a lot. He came here and he said, "I've got to get you a team." And that's been his focus for 40 days. He's been trying to do bits and pieces. A lot of it was already predestined to be done, But there's not really, barring getting a team, if he was focusing on getting this, that, and the other, he wouldn't have time to get a team together. And that's got to be the priority. Let's get the team together. Let's get playing. Then Mark Ashton bugger off and go and do what he wants to do. Go and do the things that need to be done. He can arrange to get the pitch relayed and the deso put down for next year. He can, arrange to get the tracks done for next year. He can arrange to get, other things done for next year when the season ends. But the team has to take priority this year because it was bloody awful. Every single week, without fail, we came on here and we're going, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I'm not being funny. If Dobra was great, he would have been great last year. He's improved. I'm not denying that. I don't think he's improved as much. You know, remember Chaplin was in a top 5 championship team last year. Are you telling me Dobber's better than him? He should start before him. Get a grip. And I'm honest with that. You know, he was in a top 5 championship team.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying about the amount of minutes that Dobber's played compared to Chaplin in pre-season.
All I'm saying is put Dobber on the bench. Try Chaplin. Start Chaplin. Put Dobber on the bench. Like you said, if Chaplin can only do half an hour, can only do an hour, then Dobber gets the other half hour, and then do it that way. At least then you're starting your best, yeah. And then you can bring Dobber, you can filter Dobber in, and then we're not doing what Paul Cook said we were going to do, and that's parachuting young players in too early when they're not quite ready for it. And I think that's where we went wrong with all the likes of Tuzel. They were better than the ones we have. These aren't better than the ones we have. So we don't need to parachute them in. You know, they can wait the turn and just do half an hour here, 20 minutes there, and get them used to the game.
Perfect. Stephen, as always, thank you ever so much. What do you make of that then, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get what Steve's saying now. I mean, we've got to kind of utilise his squad a little bit better, get people minutes. I think Dobber's going to be an impact player off the bench, I would say. Things aren't going kind of to playing against Morecambe. You can bring him on, bring a little bit of that sort of endeavour that he brings to the table. But yeah, I mean, look, this in terms of Evans, right? Just quickly going back on what Steve said there, and he wrote his debt off. I mean, bloody right, he should do. He took his team from what was supposed to be going to the Premier League to third tier. So bloody right, he should have waved that day off. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to ban that name, I think.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I was thinking about this earlier in the week. And to be honest with you, I'm pleased Lambert was a bit of a failure here, because who would want that hanging over our head? You know, a Norwich City Hall of Famer reviving the pride of Anglia. No thanks. I'd rather do it on this watch. The game changer watch with Paul Cook. 100%.
Fair enough. All right, moving on. Anything before? Obviously, we're pushing on for time. So, what have we got left to cover, Matthew? What have you got?
Do you want a quick Media Mogul?
I love Media Mogul. You know that.
This story's been floating around in Italy for a few weeks, but I've been saving it for this because it made me chuckle. So the powers that be in Italy, Sierra, have decided that if you've got an away strip that's green or a third strip that's green, you can no longer have it. They're banning green from Sierra. So if you've got a home strip, so Sassuolo, they play in green and black stripes, they've been allowed to keep that. But Lazio, who had a green away kit, I think, last season, can't have it anymore. You can still have green keeper tops, and the referees might still be able to wear green. But in terms of strips, no more green. So apparently this is the fact that a lot of Italian fans have been complaining that it camouflages too much on Italian television. That's the reason why. So no more green strips in Italian football anymore. So that's a complete random one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Italian football for you, though, isn't it? They are sometimes as random as they appear.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, you know, if they brought that in. So, you know, I know Celtic have had green away kits previously, even though they were playing green and white stripes, hoops rather. Spurs, I think, had a green away kit last season, didn't they? Or the season before?
They won in Ajax, didn't they? When they got to the final, they wore that out there, didn't they?
Yeah. It just made me chuckle. But it's still, and in typical of Italian football leagues, still not quite. No one's still not quite sure how it's going to pay out going forward. But that's going to be from next season, not this season coming, 22-23. Green is gone. # green is gone.
Fair enough. There we go. You love a bit of Italian football, don't you? Love bringing that into the show.
Oh yeah. It's good. It's going to be an interesting
Jose
season.
will do.
Say again.
I think Jose will do with Roma.
I don't think they've got European football this year, Roma. So I think he'll probably do. All right. He did really well at Inter, didn't he? He revived Inter, won them a European Cup. So, but he never sticks around for long, does he, Jose? He'll probably do maybe 2-3 years, maybe, and move on. Interesting. Juventus, of course, got to try and get Scudetto back. Ronaldo, 37, 38, looked good in the Euros. We'll see. Be interesting.
Big Jose fan, me. Big Jose fan. Any goats this week? Is anybody upset this week?
Not football-wise, no.
Really?
In the baseball, I was annoyed. I've kind of mentioned it on Thursday. The Cubs, my team. If you think the deadline day can be brutal in UK for football, the Cubs got rid of their entire, faces of the franchise, didn't they, Martin? The 3 big faces of their franchise were gone and by the next day were playing for new teams. So that was a bit of a shock for the whole of Chicago, the north side of Chicago. But that's how American sports works. Once you get traded, it's done, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Nothing.
No, exactly. It's gone, mate. Done and dusted.
Yeah.
Anything for you, Crunch?
Goats? Not really. Just last night. We're big WWE fans, aren't we, on here? I know Martin and Matt like the old days. Bray Wyatt was released last night.
Well, you know me. I'm not a great guy from Essex who loves wrestling. What can I say?
Why have they got rid of him? He was one of the big ones, wasn't he?
I don't know. Vince is losing more. They're all off to AEW, aren't they? Daniel Bryan's going there. They reckon Punk's coming back. He's signing there.
Don't start me with modern wrestling. Don't start me with it. Absolutely.
See Facebook user out. That Ben Knight scored for Man City. Could he come back in as a loan? So what was he in the first team game for them? Is that what it was? He was like, wasn't he? Didn't Brian Clough say he was the greatest academy product he'd ever seen coming through?
About $1 million for him, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're not going to get a young lad on loan.
Say again.
He's related to Nick Knight, the cricketer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's so
yeah. You're not going to get a young lad on loan. Simple. Because you've got Bond, Piggott, Jackson or Norwood, Chaplin who can play up top. Like you're not going to get him the game time that the parent club will want. I mean, we're struggling really with Bond at the moment because Bond's not ripped it up in pre-season. Well, not many people have up front, to be fair. But then if you start with Bond, you've got Piggott behind him, Chaplin, Norwood, Jackson. If you don't start with Bond, like QPR wanting to play games, so Man City will definitely want Ben Knight to play games. That's for sure.
What the other option for him to go? So, and Selena's poorly with COVID after effects, isn't he? Just seeing that mentioned in the comments. Yeah, he's got a heart issue or something, respiratory issue. Yeah,
it's not great. I wish him well. But I do think left wing, right wing, the centre midfield, and maybe centre half are the four positions, maybe or a left back or whatever. But a centre forward we're set for now. They ain't coming back. I will put my neck on the line and say we're not getting another centre forward in between now and Morecambe.
Yeah.
Between now and the end of the season, even.
We don't need one, do we?
No. Ashley Bell, budget cuts the day before they announced record profits. Yeah, they're streamlining to sell. Disney or whoever, Vince is streamlining the business to, I reckon, sell it. Personally, that's what I think.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Matt's Vince strut when he comes in to the fan zone.
Well, me too.
Make sure you film it this time. Coming across the field, sir.
Bruce Ayre says, WWE, oh lad, you were doing so well. Well, I'm a huge modern wrestling fan. It's illogical and nonsense these days, but there we go.
We like the old stuff. The old era.
Certainly do. We really do. I tried to watch a bit of SmackDown last night because there's nothing on TV and I just thought, this is boring. This is so bad. So bad. But there we go. Ashley Bell, heart problem following COVID. Maybe that's why we went for Chaplin.
Yeah.
Who knows? Wish him well. Right, we're back tomorrow night, 8:30 with Talking Town Extra Time. Looking forward to that. See what tomorrow brings. Monday's always a newsworthy day. But yeah, another show in the books. This time next week, lads, we'll be discussing, we would have discussed Morecambe and then just be looking ahead to a cup game on the Tuesday. Look, any score predictions for next Saturday? Or are you going to wait for the Thursday preview show?
Yeah, we'll wait till Thursday. We've got a show lined up for Thursday. Make sure you got no plans for Thursday, everyone. We've got a good show lined up.
I'm off to Trent Bridge Thursday, Matt. First thing, I'm going to watch England, India. And I'm going to the Trent Bridge Inn for breakfast.
Beautiful.
Don't come home pissed. We want you for Thursday evening.
No, I'm driving, mate. No beer snakes for me.
Don't forget our Fierce and 4 links in the chat and our Ko-Fi link as well. But until tomorrow, 8:30, F1 show at 7:15. Apparently, it's a great race today. Looking forward to catching up.
No spoilers.
No, with love, with care.
All the best.